In this video I'll be talking about Kafka and Node, and we'll be seeing it with an example. So let's get started. And Kafka is basically a stream processing library, which means it can process data, and it can have a store where people can access the data. So it's kind of a PubSub architecture. So if you don't know what that is, I have a link in the description. Do take a look at it. It describes the basics of PubSub architecture. So why I'm saying is that Kafka is completely based on PubSub architecture. So in Kafka there are three most important you can say keywords or entities. So one is the producer, and secondly there is a consumer, and I would say the third one would be topic. So these are the three main essential root features of Kafka. So you can producer and consumer is nothing but the publisher and subscriber. So they have different names. We can call anyone we want. So what happens is that, let me delete this. So we have a producer here. Usually the reason for using Kafka is that we want to exchange data between producer and consumer, right? So we have a producer here which produces data, and we have a consumer here which consumes the data, right? And we have a topic here. So at any given point of time, this producer and consumer will not interact directly. So what they do is they interact via this topic. So we call this as a topic, and producer and consumer both interact via this topic. The producer puts data into this topic, like it goes in. So this is actually one way. So this puts data into the topic, right? And this consumer consumes the data from this topic. So that's what happens. So this is the basic architecture of Kafka, and it's working. So as we scale, as there are many, you can say many, like n number of data points in this topic, what happens is that there would be latency, and it would not scale that well. So at that point, what we can do, or what Kafka does, is that it provides us with an choice of distributing this data in the topic. As I said, there would be a topic here. Here there would be that topic. There would be a producer, and there would be a consumer. So this is the producer and the consumer. So at this point of time, as there are many data points, like there is large number of data, what Kafka does is that we can divide this into partitions. So as I said, we can divide it into parts. Let's say we divide it into partitions. This is partition 1 and this is partition 2. And now this producer can produce data into both of these partitions. So P1 and P2. And this consumer can actually, usually what it can do is it can consume from both the partitions as well. But the load at this consumer will be very high if there are subsequent requests coming in, and the load for this producer also would be high as it's generating data. So there is another entity, let's call that as consumer groups. So this solves the problem of handling load. So let's say consumer groups, as the name suggests, there will be groups of consumers. So there is consumer 1, there will be consumer 2, and what consumer does is that it will only consume data from P1. So this is for P1 and this is for P2. This consumer 2 will consume data only from P2. So if producer produces data into P2, it's the responsibility of consumer 2 to get in and consume this. And the same goes for P1. Consumer 1 will take care of that. There is Kafka, and the competitor for Kafka is, I would not say competitor, but you can say the opposite is RabbitMQ, because they're completely different with each other, because this follows PubSub architecture and this follows a queue approach. So one main difference between these both is that in the PubSub model there would be one, let's say a middle entry, in this case we call that as topic, and there would be data in it, right? So there would be consumer here there will be producer here, and producer will produce and consumer will consume. So this data can be consumed by any number of consumer any number of times. So there will be no limit on number of consumption limits. So in the case of queue, in the case of RabbitMQ, there would be, it's in a form of queue. If data comes in once, any one entity can consume this, and that's it. It would be popped off from the queue, or you can say you can acknowledge that from the queue, and it would be removed from the queue. So any other entities would not see this data. So that's the main difference between Kafka and RabbitMQ, I would say. So for RabbitMQ, if you're using microservices, I think you can go with RabbitMQ, because this would be very helpful in communicating between services, and it is also widely used. It can handle a high range of load. In Kafka, if you can use Kafka if you want to use something like, if you want to analyze data which is inside this topic or inside Kafka, or if you want to reread, or if you want to reread data again and again, and you want to utilize that data for a sustained period of time, then you can use Kafka. And there are, as I said, there would be consumers, right? Consumer groups. So there's consumer 1, consumer 2, right? And inside this topic, let's say this is a topic, and there would be partition 1 and partition 2, right? And this is actually, let's say this broker runs on port 1992, this entire thing, this topic. And we have another broker running at the port 1993, and it has the same structure as well. So you can say it has a topic, and it has P1 and P2 partitions. So right now we can have, like, there is two entities like leader and follower, or you can say leader, master or slave. You can say follower, that's better. So it's similar to master slave architecture. So one partition can be master, one can be a follower, or in this case it's leader and it's follower. In this case it's leader and it's follower. So the reason for having this architecture is that if one broker goes entirely down, then the other broker will have its main data. For example, here the leader is P1 and P1. If this goes down, then the exact data would be in P1 also. So we have at least 50% of data, we have saved that before crashing. So that's useful during that times. So let's look at an example. What we'll be coding actually. We'll be implementing this. So let's take an example and then code it. So the example we are going to take is jersey numbers. So what this does is that we'll be having a topic called let's say jersey. This is our topic name. So we have to give a topic name. So, and it has two partitions, P1 and P2. So this P1 will be containing data with player names, or you can say player names whose jersey number lies between 0 and 10. And this P2 will have player names lying between 11 and 20. So let's say there are 20 players, and we have just divided that into 0 and 10 and 11 and 20. So we have a producer here, right? So what will be happening is that the producer will be sending data. So actually the user, we will be sending as a command line argument, let's say the jersey number, and I'll be sending 7 into this producer, and this producer decides to which partition it should send. So 7 lies between 0 and 10, so it sends right here. So 7 would be here. And similarly, if I sent, let's say 18, it would go into partition 2. So we'll have a list of jersey numbers. So this consumer will consume from both the queues, both the partitions. So right now we don't have any consumer groups because I want to keep this simple. So we can consume from both the partitions. And we will also be getting, while consumer will be getting the data back, such as from which partition we are getting back. So instead of P1 and P2, it would be like it starts from 0, 1, 2, so on. So right now our partitions should be 0 and 1. So the first partition means 0, and the 0th partition here is P1, and the first partition is P2. So that's how it works. So we'll be implementing this. So let's code that. I think so I have a new folder here, Kafka node, and it's empty right now. So what I want to do is I want to install Kafka.js and Nodemon as well. Okay. So as this install, we'll go and start up our Kafka.js, and we'll be having something called Zookeeper. So what this Zookeeper does is that, this is why I'm saying this, is that Zookeeper is actually mandatory to be running when you are running Kafka. So Zookeeper is nothing but it's just an entity which handles this leader and follower, as I said. So it will be handling those, and it will also be looking into consumer groups. So I'll be making an in-depth video into that in the future. So for now, let's just install that. So instead of downloading and installing the whole thing, let's run it from Docker, and let's expose our port. So usually Kafka.js runs on 1992 port, as I said, and Zookeeper runs on 2181 port. So first let's start the Zookeeper. You could say docker run. Let's give a name for this container, which is Zookeeper, and expose run from the port 2181. Expose that to from our system, and I want to pull that from Zookeeper. So let's run that. I think this should work. This should pull it. So for the first time, it will download some images. For me, I have already installed that and I have already run, so it won't take much time for me. So it's running now. Let's open another tab. Let's keep that running. Don't close the tab. So we'll open another tab, and let's do now docker run, and the name of this container would be Kafka, and this would be running at port 1992. And we need 3 environment variables in this case. Let's create a new line. So for an environment variable, you can do -e and the environment variable name. We want to connect Kafka with Zookeeper, right? So we need Kafka Zookeeper connect, which is equals to, what we need to give is the IP address of the Zookeeper. So to find that, you need to run docker inspect this. This is the command. You need to inspect Zookeeper, and basically what this command does is that it brings out the IP address on which the Zookeeper is running. So let's copy that and paste here, and Zookeeper is running at port 2181. So let's forward that as well. We need another variable called Kafka advertised listeners. So it would be plain text. There's no encryption, and it would run on localhost. So 127.0.0.1 :1982, which is a port on which Kafka runs. So by default, Kafka creates 3 topics for us. I want to limit that to 1. So we can do that by saying Kafka. So this is is equals to 1, and I want to pull this image from, let's say, Confluent Inc. /cp-kafka. So that's the image that's where I want to pull this from. So let's run this and see if it's working or not. So it's launching Kafka. So I think it's running now. We can go into our first tab, and let's now create. Before even, what I will be doing is that we'll be creating 2 files, producer.js and consumer.js. So these 2 files, other files, as the name says, one will produce and another will consume, right? So before even that, as we said, we will be dealing with 2 partitions. In this case, we need to create 2 partitions. So let's do that. Let's say partition.js. So first is we will be importing, or we can say we will be requiring Kafka. We will also require Kafka. So it's Kafka.js, and let's run a function. Let's say create partition. So this is the function I want to run here. The reason for the function is that I want to have async function here. So I want to put out await there. So in the latest node version, I think we can do await outside any function, right? So I don't think I have the latest version. So let's go with this. So we have a create partition function. So what this does is that first it connects with Kafka. So to do that, we'll be creating a new instance of Kafka. It will be taking an object. So the first is the client ID. It can be anything. So in this case, we'll be giving Jersey. or you can say player jersey. It can be anything, it just has to be a string. And the second argument is the brokers. It needs the array of brokers it can connect to. So in this case we have 127 our local host to the port 1982, and that's it. We have only one broker right now. So after this we can create an admin using this Kafka variable. So we can do that using const admin is equals to kafka.admin. So now we have an admin created, and we can now connect by saying admin.connect. So this connects to the admin. So why do we need admin is that to create partitions we need to have that admin access, right? So that's the reason we are creating an admin. Create topics. This would be taking an object, and that object has topics array, and this array has objects. You can have multiple objects if you want to have more than one topic. So right now we are dealing with only one topic, so we can have just one object. So we have a topic name, which is, as we said, jersey. The number of partitions for this is going to be 2. We are actually going to be awaiting this, and after this happens, let's do 2 partitions created. So yeah, I think that's all. We can just run this now, clear the screen. So I can say node partition.js. So okay, I think 2 partitions are created. I can the reason it's not disconnecting is that we need to call disconnect here. Actually I forgot to do that. We need to do admin.disconnect in order to disconnect the admin. So we can run again. So it says that topic already exists because we already created that, but we got what we need. We have 2 partitions created, and now we can go into producer.js. Actually it's very similar to the connection thing, is very similar to the partition.js. Let's import this, and let's have a function here, async function. Let's say produce, and this entire thing is same. So let's copy and put it here. So because we'll be connecting to the same broker and same client with same client ID, so that's okay. So now what I want to do is that as I said, I will be taking the jersey number from the user. So let's say jersey number is equals to process.args of 2. So we will get the jersey number as a command line argument. What it means is that you will be running this file by saying node space producer.js space the jersey number. So that's how it goes. So we'll give the jersey number, and then we need to create a producer for this. So you can create that by saying producer is equals to kafka.producer. Now we can do the same thing we did to admin. We can do producer.connect, and after this connects, we can say console.log producer connected. And now that is connected, we can start producing data to the topic, right? So we can do const produce data. So this is the produced data which will be coming from producer.send. So what this does is that it sends to a topic with the value. The topic is going to be jersey, right? Jersey is our topic we created, and the messages is going to be an array of objects. This object will have a value, and that value is going to be let's create an object here. So this is just for team, or you can say player. So 7 is going to be Dhoni, 18 is going to be Virat, 12 is going to be Yuvraj. These are just, if you are not familiar who are these are Indian cricket players. So yeah, if you are from India, I think you must have, of course you will know them. 10 is Sachin, and 45 would be Rohit. Okay, so the value would be exactly players of the jersey number. So if the jersey number is 45, then we'll be saying players of 45. So Rohit would be the value, right? So we also need to send a partition for this. So it must be 0 or it must be 1, because we have two partitions, right? So how do we decide what the partition is? So if the jersey number is less than or equals to 10, then we'll go to partition 0, or else we'll go to partition 1. So yeah, that's what we need. So now we can just say produced data and stringify this produced data, and we have to call this function. So let's call this, let's save this, and let's try to run. Let's do node producer.js, and we need to send the jersey number, right? So let's send Dhoni first. That's 7. This must be argv actually. So it's node. So let's run producer.js space 7. Okay, so you can see that it's going to the partition 0, right? And again, if we do, let's do 18, and now you can see that it's going to partition 1. So it's producing data, and now we have finished, and this is what the producer does. Let's go with the consumer now. So let's do the same actually. Let's open producer.js and let's copy and paste this. Will be create, instead of produce, the function is going to be consume. Let's paste this, and consume doesn't need any arguments. So similar to this producer, what you can do is const consumer would be kafka.consumer, and you can do await consumer.connect. So now you can say console.log consumer connected. So as I said, this is a pub sub model, which means publisher and subscriber model. So here our consumer is a subscriber, right? So it needs to subscribe to this topic to receive events, to receive events from this topic. So to do that, you can do consumer.subscribe, the topic name, which is jersey, and let's give an object which has, actually this must be, and the topic which is jersey, and from beginning should be set to true, so as to get all the messages from the beginning. We need to await this, and now we could do consumer dot run something. So what we need to run is that it has something like each message. So this is a asynchronous function which has data, or you can say data, but this data has 3 parts. One is the topic, and the next one is the partition to which partition it's been produced, and the message itself. So you can actually pull that out from this by destructuring it directly. Instead of seeing data.topic, data.partition, you can just do topic, comma partition, comma message, and now you can do console.log, let's say, to partition. The message is I'm not printing topic because we know that we have only one topic, so of course it's the topic which we are subscribed to, and the message would be message.value.toString. So I think that should do. We have some error. Yeah, so now I think we can run this. Before that, we should call this function consume. Let's run consumer.js. Okay, I think we forgot to add group ID into this consumer. This takes a group ID, and that can be anything. So let's say jersey. So let's save that and run consumer.js again. Okay, the problem was that this variable name must be offsets, and not offset, so that's the problem. So I actually killed that image, and I did docker system prune to remove that container, and I'm running this again. Okay, I think, yeah, let's try this again. I have restarted both the docker containers, so let's see if that works for us now. Let's do consumer.js. Okay, so now it says the consumer has joined the group. Before that, I think we need to even consume this. So I think we changed, we need to run partition first. So to create the partitions for the topic name Jersey1, and to produce, we need to change the topic to Jersey1 -1, and we need to consume from Jersey1 as well. So here Jersey1 and Jersey1 here. Now we can run producer.js, and let's say 12, and you can see it goes to partition 1, and let's say 7, and it goes to partition 0. Okay, so let's consume that now. Okay, so now we can see that for the partition 0, we're getting Yuvraj, whose jersey number is 12, and for partition 0, we are getting Dhoni, whose jersey number is 7. So that's how partition and Kafka works. So if you have many applications running in a single Kafka container, so you can actually create more and more partitions and more consumers, even more consumer groups, and you can interact with each other. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.